Oh, hello YouTube. I didn't expect to see you there. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, ACT. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, KJ. I would apologize for doing this in the way that I'm doing this, but I'm going to do that. I'm not going to say sorry. I'm going to explain. I'm going to apologize. I told the Discord this morning I would be here by noon. And then I remembered, oh, fuck, you got to go to the mail. And then I started cleaning. And my thoughts started wandering. And like yesterday, I had two thoughts I realized I needed to articulate. And I got to thinking about, how can you articulate those thoughts? And I thought to myself, it doesn't make sense to turn your camera on to have this kind of thought when you've already conditioned your audience that the first 20 or 30 or 60, 180 minutes, morning Zoinks, morning Eric, of this show can be dedicated to me talking to myself. And so, a thought that I guess I left unsaid, as I apparently contradicted myself on my way to Panera yesterday. Good morning, Opium. Is that I do not come here to sell friendship. I do not come here to sell anything besides my Patreon, which is where my work goes. The work that I'm most proud of goes to the Patreon. So if I make a video and I'm proud of it, it'll go to the Patreon first, and then it'll go public. I'm gonna have to condition you to that next. Because I was told subsequent to that discussion that what's a discussion with oneself would be a monocussion, right? Monscussion? Sounds awful lot like a concussion. Anyway, the resulting erratic brain behavior of speaking to oneself. Monscussion. Because mono, I believe, is one in Greek, and uni is one in Latin. So, discourse being two courses, and universe being one poem. Anyway, you get to listen to the fruit of me talking to myself. And meat that I left on the bone is that I'm not on YouTube to sell memberships or watch hours. I'm on the YouTube to sell my written word, which is on my Patreon. I will make friends along the way because I'm an awesome dude. But that's not what I am here for. I'm here to sell my art like everyone else gets to do. I just do it in a different way because I'm a different kind of artist. Because I'm a religious person. Actually religious. I'm an actual poet. And that leads in to the second thing I wanted to say. But before I get to that, let me explain to you why I say I'm an actual poet. I took a creative writing poetry class in high school. I went to Shawnee State University, and I went looking through their curricula after, for my concluding semester of high school, and I thought, everybody else that's taking PSCO is taking it unseriously. And what they're doing is they're using it as an opportunity to take electives that would be more fun than what are offered in high school. And I thought, no. I am going to educate myself. I'm going to get a real education out of this. So I took Psych 101 and developmental psychology, because if you can understand the basics of the field and you can understand the basics of human development, you can understand anything else about humans. If you understand what humans are like in each of their developmental life stages, you can understand anything about any human, anywhere in the world, at any time, and in any place. Because you understand the one poem that can be written, the universal language, the universal truth about all humans in all stages of life. And if you understand it as development, then you can understand where people have gone wrong at a glance. And then I took calculus and trig at a college level, and at Shawnee as well. I was taking junior level mathematics as a senior in high school. My calculus teacher straight up asked me if I wouldn't let her talk me into going into the experimental mathematics field, her specialty, because I was the youngest person she had ever seen grasp calculus like it was just normal language. It was a normal way to think. That wasn't my interest. My interest was in seminary. My interest, in fact, was in a Buddhist monastery. That's where I wanted to be after graduating high school. But I took this poetry class. We're in a class, and everybody else is struggling to come up with a poem a day to bring to the class, and I'm not. And in fact, I'm letting a few of the people in the class have my poetry, and the teacher has noticed. I have a style. If you want to read my poetry, it's all available for free on the internet somewhere too, and I could link you to it. From this era of my life, in fact. And you might begin to notice some similarities between that dude and this dude. I'm not here to sell old work. It's old work. It's a dead man. Dead boy. And so, I don't remember how it came about, but he asked me why I write in front of the whole class. Well, why do you write at all? And I said, well, I write as a discussion with myself, that I write the poetry and then I read it and I interpret it for myself and then I understand myself better. And he gives me this crazy look, and he gives me this crazy look, and he asks me if I don't ever intend to collect and sell it. And I said, oh, I don't care if people read it. I write it for me. And so I remember that boy, and I remember that look he gave me when I say things like, I am a true poet. I write when I am inspired to write, and I write what I am inspired to write, or I write nothing. Because my pen, literally, I write by hand first. My pen is not for sale. It's just not. But the dead man who wrote, "This is not Rod Longshore," deserves to eat. I love when that happens. When I make what should be a simple facial expression, but the hemispheres of my face make different expressions. What am I looking for? Smoke. Unite. I gotta go to the fucking post office. And I don't want to. Because there's a non-zero chance she's gonna tell me, or what she gives me is some bullshit. It's also a non-zero chance it's telling me every time that woman gets mail and not when I get mail. But I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't be doing that. Oh, that's what I was looking for, and knew I was missing something. Something didn't feel right. So now we move into the second part of what I want to talk about, and that's inspiration. And taking things seriously. Does anyone off the top of their head? It's like an hour. Zoinks. Does anyone off the top of their head know the etymology of serious? Us means having to do with. And seri sounds an awful lot like ser in Spanish, which is to be. Ser, that ser, to be, is a very old Indo and Proto-Indo-European sound. So of seri, S-E-R-I, not S-I-R, because if it were Sirius, S-I-R-I-O-U-S, I might think it has to do with the dog star Sirius. The etymology of Sirius, S-E-R-I-O-U-S. Because to be serious might just mean to take things as they actually are, which is the name of the God of being among the Hebrews. His name is effectively Sirius. Take me as I am, for I am what I am. Ser, S-E-R, ser, to be. Right, am I wrong about this? Spanish speakers, that S-E-R is a to be in Spanish? Somos. Eres es is from ser. Pretty sure. Ah, fuck. Anyway, I needed to go this way. So what does inspiration mean? The spear there is spirit. Inspiritation would be how we would say that in modern English. It means possession. And so if you understand poetry as anything other than possession by a muse or some concept, some other god, to voice something very serious, you don't understand poetry at all. Like watching Chapel Roan dance around in a thong while she sings about pink ponies. It's like, that's not even art. It wasn't even an inspirited oh, Eric. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I walked into a whole cloud of pollen or something right there. Dust, something. She's not even inspired. The performance isn't even inspired. She doesn't even go to the highest notes. She doesn't really stress herself. She barely moves. Whatever. This is why women weren't allowed to perform in the ancient world. In the very near modern world, the only places women were allowed to, until the very, very near modern world, the 1960s and 70s, women weren't even allowed to, actually, until just a few years ago, women weren't even allowed to perform in public without it being outright prostitution. That's why these pop stars are acting liberated. Serious, grave, or earnest. Proto-Indo-European root of swear, meaning heavy or with weight. That's what I said. I knew I was. Heavy or weighty. To treat something with gravity. Which is funny, because to be grave or graven means different things. You gotta make a hypothesis, you gotta test your hypothesis against reality in order to begin doing science. So, being wrong is irrelevant. You gotta do the hypothesis before the research in order to test yourself for whether you've learned anything. I wouldn't say it's weird, but it is fun, and I wouldn't even say it's a rabbit hole. There's a whole school of people working on getting back to the oldest languages we can reach to, and there are wars being fought right now over the Proto-Indo-European homeland. There are wars being fought right now over etymologies of words. I'm reading this book, thank you Rach, called Scribes, Weavers, and Kings, New History of the Near East. And there were wars fought over etymology 5,000 years ago. I know this song and I like it. That's fun. And that's where I was when I turned this on. When I have these thoughts I can't shake, I used to call them obsessive thoughts to market them with a name that people think they understand. But they're not actually obsessive thoughts. They're inspiration. They're a novel connection of neurons between two otherwise commonplace, or maybe not so commonplace, ideas. And an idea by any name is a god. That's just how that works. That's what Plato was saying when he coined the term idea. And no matter how far away we get from Plato's usage, the etymological root will always be a god. It will always be. Well, it's less about painting the wrong side of your face when you go to war. That's about identifying yourself as separate from those people. They had, they had what are known today as, oh, what did Freud call it? He might have called it the tribalism of minor differences. But what happens is the closer you live in proximity, the minorer your differences appear to the outside. But that's what I'm talking about. Just the idea that we're going to paint the left side of our face is representing a god. If you have tax money, if without tax money, what you'll start to see is private wars among corporations. You already see a lesser form of that all over the world. But they're content right now with the cultural game board. Hello, Greenie. Now, when the bus comes, I'm just going to have to abruptly end this. But otherwise, that obsessive thought was just going to go off into the ether, and I was going to feel like I owed God an apology. When you hear a song or a line of poetry and you're like, man, how did they fit that concept into that meter and rhyme? How far ahead were they thinking as they wrote? And then you ask them and they say, oh no, it just happened that way. That's called inspiration. That's because a God was speaking. That's because something higher than them was speaking. They were a channel. Shaggy Philalitheia is a channel from what to what? Where is it? It's all a mystery. Misery, there's so much of life than what you see. My friend of misery, my friend of misery. What up, Dave? We are not going anywhere, but I am going to the post office. I gotta end this basically as soon as I see the bus. What you apologizing to me for, Jeremiah? Am I gonna have to smack you around for apologizing without telling me what for? Like I know what you're upset at me for? I just wanted to eat my burger, man. You went postal. When did you go postal? Who did you hurt? Are you being a goof? It's not a field trip. Misery, there's no sense that the weight of the world must be on your shoulders. Misery, there's so more to life than what you see. I don't actually know the words of these songs. When I talk about inspiration, I just let my neurons tell me what's coming next. Because I learned only recently that that's how most lyrics are actually written. Especially really good ones. But really bad ones, you can tell were written in that way. Okay, you're being a goof. Heard that. It's not a field trip, Eric. You do not get to go. You don't get to go. Sorry, bud. Thank you guys for the likes. I haven't mentioned those in a few days. I wanted to see, just on the inside of myself, I wanted to see if I'm talking about experimentation. I wanted to see if I didn't mention them if they stayed at 30. If they stayed at the same 30 people hitting me every single day, watching everything I make. And the answer to that question is yes, they will peak at 30. That's fine. I know who you are. You know who you are. What we need to do next is have a powwow. I need to have you guys. See, here's the thing. One thing I am going to crowdsource, because I'm not here to sell anything other than my obsessive thoughts or my inspiration or my fucking being, right? The heaviness, the seriousness of this existence that I've chosen for myself. And I have a story about that for you. I thought that was an interesting experience, and I'm glad that I didn't invite you along, because it would have been different. I do miss out on the experiences that are right in front of me because of you guys. That's what happens when you have a camera, ever. I don't know how girls didn't learn that with digital cameras. I don't know how they didn't learn it with disposable cameras. I figured that out by 2002. Actually, I'd figured it out by 1999, just watching the girls around me. But I don't know what you guys actually want from me. I don't know what the members want. I don't know what the Patreon subs or the free members of the Patreon want from me, besides what I have written and what I will write when I have the liberty to do so. I don't know what you want from me. That's what I was telling you yesterday. I identify first as a writer of historical nonfiction. I identify first as a religious and spiritual person channeling a dead man, maybe a dead god. I identify first as an eccentric, insane person. So I have no idea what the fuck you want to pay me for. Never have. It used to break me down into anxiety tears that you paid me at all. Why? Why are you here? I don't know. Data is inconclusive. Okay, so remember the part about I'm only going to do the things I'm inspired to do, Jeremiah? That is never going to be what anything less than $50 a month on the Patreon buys. Like the suggestions of what I should do as content is never going to be anything less than $50 a month, because $50 a month is like $1 a quarter a day. It buys fuck all in the real world. You couldn't buy a ticket to see Metallica perform every single day of July for $50. Making requests is just totally beyond the pale to me for anything less than $1 a day. I don't know how that isn't just like the first thing people think when they see this guy is, wow, he's valuable. I would like to pay for that. I spent decades trolling the internet for something besides porn to spend my money on, because it was going to actually give me a product consistently. See the stone, they are the battered. I have no idea what he's saying. Tribulations, battered, humiliation, the undoubts. The other started, the other battles. Something of unawareness. Or dead, Dave. Lazy and stupid. ASMR videos are porn. I have a feeling this bus isn't actually coming. Well, I still got 7 minutes before she's late. But yes, I am absolutely dancing in public like people are watching me. Heard that, Jeremiah. I'm not really going anywhere today, though. He says a la 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 of unawareness, and I have no idea what he's saying there. Ooh, it's a warm one today, boys and girls. I should not be wearing this shirt. I'm gonna soak it right through. Glad I didn't bring my backpack. Daram's birds circling the Pizza Cottage parking lot. It looks to be just enjoying the whee. Yeah, they seem to just be enjoying the hot air coming up off that parking lot spot right there. I guess I could show you. Oh, I'm absolutely dancing like people are watching. I don't give a fuck. Where am I? What am I looking at? Can you see them? No field trip, my friend. You don't get to come on this one. There they are. I can't actually see my screen. I'm gonna stand here until 25, and then I'm gonna turn and leave. I'm gonna go pack up my shit, and I'm gonna go to the fucking Panera, and I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna be in a bad mood all day. Is today a fucking holiday that I'm unaware of? The only field trip you're about to get, Eric, is right into a fucking trash can. Just throw the phone and all of it right in the trash can. I seriously thought about winging it out into traffic the other day. Not yet the other day, yesterday. I'm sitting out there on the fucking patio trying to enjoy my cigarette. And I seriously thought about just winging it out in the fucking street and being done with this thing forever. I had to really, really talk myself like, no, 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 no. As amazing and performative as that would be, no, no. That's what your father would do. I should have done that today. I just didn't want to touch it while it was wet. It's probably going to rain today, too. That's probably an omen. I like this, too. What is this? This Uncle Acid? Red thing. It's alright. There it is. Alright, dudes. Time for the mail. Love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for 10 likes. I'll talk to you in a couple hours.